Hello, and welcome to Zero to Something, a place where we talk about founders' journeys, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Sarah Massey. We will hear all about her amazing journey with a lot of different entrepreneurial endeavors and also her values within the LGBTQ plus community. So let's get on. Let's talk a little bit about your background. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your entrepreneurship journey because you have a massive long history.
Um, my, you know, I started work as a teenager and I always loved marketing and media and communications. So I was, of course, like the nerd who's the editor in chief of her college newspaper. And what I found was that I had an ability to translate complex policy into communications and had a very long career in social change communications. So I worked in the USA until I moved to Europe, which was 5 years ago. So that was the vast majority of my career. But in the middle of it, I decided to go out on my own. In 2005, I started my first company called Massey Media. I still own Massey Media, Sarah Massey, Massey Media. I've owned it so 20 years, 20
Wow.
years. And I still have customers to this day who I work with to help with their communications, their marketing, anything that has to do with media, from websites to filming to documentaries, emails. If it's communications and media, I've probably done it. I'm going to do it. I have a partner I'm also working on an AI project with. So entrepreneurship has been in my blood for 2 decades now. And in this other time, I've also done catering business. I've written a cookbook. I've written a romance
Wow. You,
novel.
you're really
Not all of
spread
them
out
have
in
I
your
written.
interests and hobbies and entrepreneurial
Well,
adventures.
apparently it's called a
Yes,
multi-passionate.
absolutely.
Uh, I think I think that's what it's called. I am one of those people, if I get interested in the topic, I'm going to run with it. I'm going to find out everything I need to know about it. And then we exist in capitalism, right? So um, if I need to make a living, I'm going to try to figure out a way to sell what I'm doing so that I can have cash. And then in the middle of all of this, I moved to Europe 5 years ago for lots of different reasons, and COVID started. And when COVID started, I got very concerned about the LGBTQ plus community being able to stay together in a safe space. Because as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, I know that we love to hang out at Pride, we love to hang out at the gay bar, we love the Madonna dance party, and none of that was going to happen during COVID. So I got super lucky. I met this incredible CTO. We built a platform called Freak, and we threw events specifically for the LGBTQ plus community on our platform. And what was different about our platform is that we use safer technology. So there was no artificial intelligence on our platform, no spying, no recording. So what we're trying to do is kind of like emulate the best of like the gay club or the gay bar so that people could feel safe and secure even being online, because there are a lot of really unsafe spaces for the LGBTQ plus community online right now. And even like technologies like Zoom are using artificial intelligence to watch uh,
Oh.
people communicating, and we were very concerned about the implications of that. So that's how I got to become a CEO of a tech company called Freak.
It's fascinating. I think one thing I absolutely admire is the ability to monetize the hobbies and passions. I think that's what separates entrepreneurs from other people, really, right? Because everyone has various hobbies and interests, but only entrepreneurs at heart and soul, they're the ones who monetize it and create something out of it. Launching something during the COVID time, what lessons did you learn? Because it was a quite a challenging time for so many people.
For me, like I said, just in my heart, I'm worried about my community not being able to get together in a
Yeah.
safe space, and the problem of then being told, okay, we'll just go online. Well, if you're LGBTQ plus, you can't just go online on social media. Social media can be great for connection, but there's bullying, there's harassment, there's doxing, you name it. And so I'm kind of a punk. And if you tell me I got to do something, I might try to think of another way to do it. So punk and entrepreneur come together. And then because there was an emergency, I think, those of us who responded to the emergency, I don't know if I was thinking about it as a business as much as I was just thinking about it as a response. But what we found was fascinating.
Okay.
So here we are, LGBTQ plus people doing queer things, such as
Mm-hmm.
dance parties and book club and smut slams. And what we found were people who were not out of the closet. So I'm targeting my business. So here's an entrepreneurship thing, right? I was targeting my business to LGBTQ plus people, but a lot of the people who showed up, and of course, there was a ton of LGBTQ plus people who showed up, but a lot of the people who showed up also were thinking, you know what? I might be gay.
Okay.
I might be trans. I might be bisexual. Where can I go and have a safe space to explore this? Well, let me go hang out with those people at Freak where where my privacy is secure, where no one's tracking my data, where I don't have to show up at a pride. And so we found all these folks who were exploring, in addition to our community, in addition to people who can't get out of the house for various reasons like COVID or maybe a disability or an illness. So it was just a phenomenal thing to me to be able to supply people with a kind of like a first step out of the closet.
Wow, that is
And
beautiful.
that was
It's just a testament to how
thrilling for
safe
us.
people felt on the platform, I think.
Well, I think if people know me, I think they feel pretty darn safe with me. Thank you. That's been something I've been working on my whole life, how to be a safe person.
That's amazing. That is beautiful. And how did you find first users or community partners for the platform? Was it a difficult process, or did you just, throw a call out there and then people just went flooding in?
I used to run or be part of the team that ran the largest LGBTQ plus conference in the United States, the Creating Change
Wow.
conference. So a lot of people know me from that. A lot of people know me from my activism. A lot of people know me from my lifestyle. And I was able to just start calling. And then when we first started, a lot of people were looking at a safe solution. And our idea was to go for events that were already
Mm-hmm.
established because they would have that database. So not to create something new, but to say, hey, you're not doing anything like Folsom Street. Folsom Street, as you may know, is the largest sex positive festival in the whole
Yeah.
world. So we just called them and said, we know you can't be in real life. Do you want to do something online? And they said, yes, please. And they came on with us.
Amazing.
So we were able to immediately partner with one of the oldest and biggest events in the world.
Okay. Wow. That is a very good way to go. I think it's in any entrepreneurship, it's all about building that connection, right, with other people, groups, and just that opens up so many doors of finding clients and customers and potential partnerships in the end.
I mean, I definitely think it goes to an argument of hiring people like me who have just huge connections. So it would have been a bazillion times harder to establish Freak without being totally enmeshed in the world that we were seeking to serve.
100%. 100%. That is so interesting. Well, okay. So in your entrepreneurial journey, and so many different endeavors that you've had, have you ever faced self-doubt or uncertainty? Well, uncertainty obviously, because that's entrepreneurship, it's all about uncertainty, right? But when you face those things, how do you deal with it, especially when the work you're doing is so personal to you?
Okay. I think that there's a part of me that believes I belong in every space, in every place. And I believe in myself so much that I don't get discouraged by a no. It's always a learning opportunity. And I have to say, I have to really thank my mother for this. my mom took me with her when she was developing her career. My mother is a
Oh, wow.
philosopher. She's written 6 books. She was also a university president. And so, as a young girl in the 80s, to have such a strong woman showing me that she was making it. And I think that that's what we need. And so, I want to be that strong woman for the people who are listening. Believe in yourself, know what you know, be willing to take the rejection as a learning opportunity, and also knowing how much value you bring outside of this traditional construct. And I think that's one of the great things about being LGBTQ plus, is because we're forced to be outsiders because the culture is so violent towards us, that in a way we have to form a really, really tough inner world that says I matter and my sexuality matters more than anything else, and that I deserve to be the person I want to be. So I think this combination of having a really strong mom who did a lot and was a groundbreaker, and being queer, I just, it, it doesn't occur to me that my ideas aren't going to work. If they don't work, say la vie next.
I think the whole message of believe in yourself and take up space is something that a lot of women especially don't hear. I had an interview last week, and when I asked the girl what
Barely.
challenges she's having, her only response was, there are no women in the space. I feel like I'm alone in it.
I really feel it. And for anyone who's listening, it was, I mean, one of the reasons why we push so hard to do Freak is because of this, because we found out that we are the first, maybe, trans man and queer woman C suite ever in world
Oh,
history.
wow, that is
And
crazy.
that's bananas. It's just
It
absolute.
is absolutely insane,
And to
yes.
it's, I mean, do you know any out transgender C-suite leaders of a tech company?
Not off the top of my head,
Uh
definitely not.
Not off the top of your head, right? Whereas we can list off 100 men,
Yeah.
we might be able to list off 5 women. And again, there's that punk in me that says, no, no, no. uh, this is not the world that I believe in. The world I believe in, women and transgender folks uh, are taking up a ton of space because we need to build tools for us. I don't think a person who exists in the world without a feeling of insecurity is going to build a product that talks to my insecurity.
Yeah, I think it's all about that, right? Purpose and then pay it forward, and yeah, just being connected to the
There you go.
mission, really. That's what matters. That's fantastic. I also
Thank
saw
you.
I also saw on your LinkedIn that you're coaching some other early stage founders right now.
So yeah, I was able to attract founders who wanted to start their business and saw again my long history and how many businesses I've started and my leadership. And so that's part of what I'm doing at Massey Media is I help people who are thinking, oh, is this a business? Do I have a business? How do I form the business? So I have 3 right now, and I love it. I love coaching one-on-one, and it's really varied. They're coming from all different backgrounds: arts, lawyers, even regenerative farming
Wow.
is one of my
Okay,
customers.
wow. No, absolutely nothing,
Yeah,
nothing
I
about
love it.
that. Now that you're coaching these professionals from absolutely different walks of life, do you see any
Yes.
common patterns in what they are struggling with as starting entrepreneurs?
Well, and it might be the people that I'm
Okay.
attracting. The people I attract are visionaries who want to do well for the world,
Okay.
and they don't think about money.
I see.
So thankfully, somebody along the way with me was like, hey, you got to make money. And I was like, yeah, let me make money and let me think about ways that I can make money. So I'm working with 3 visionaries who would save the planet, make it more beautiful, be completely sustainable, and give everyone human rights. And they would do it for free. And I wish in my utopia that we could do all these things for free, but they need to make a living and they need to put food on their own table. But also, just like Freak and Massey Media, the more I benefit, the more my community benefits, and I want power so that I can redistribute the wealth and redistribute services to people who need them.
Amazing. Yeah, that is such an interesting pattern. I think it's the people you attract. Um, but it is also an issue, right, for them, because obviously it's still a business venture. It's beautiful that it has such amazing values and mission, but it's still, as you said, they do need to put food on their table, and they can benefit their communities more if they do have the money and the power to do so. Now I'd like to talk a little more about you as a person within the entrepreneurial space. So as a woman, as a member of LGBTQ plus community, have you ever had to, hide parts of your identity or dial it down? Or have you always had a chance to build as your true full self?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I was definitely socialized to dial it down.
Okay.
I was
Yep.
socialized to be pleasing, to be pretty, to be feminine. I was also socialized to use my good looks for access. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm not going to judge it. It's just what
Mhm.
was. And I think that all took away my voice in many regards. At the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong with playing the role that you need to play to get ahead. I, it's just the cold reality that, as women, we're only getting 2% of VC funding. We're getting 69 cents on the dollar. Um, I, of course, am coming from a white woman's perspective. I can't speak to all the struggles that others face, and they are going to be much harder struggles than what I have faced. So and what we call it is masking or, playing that role, and it's taken from me. At the same time, now that I'm older, now that I'm more established, now that I'm living my dream life in Amsterdam, I'm getting louder and I'm getting tougher and I'm getting more queer. And I'm grateful that I have the opportunity and the privilege to even be able to do that. And last year, I got the great privilege of winning the Pride Parade competition with my boat.
Wow, that's
There's
amazing.
83 boats or 80 plus boats in the Canal Pride Parade, and my friends and I, uh, we, got to be loud and out about our vision of a community together. And we were blessed with winning the competition for the best boat for our theme of togetherness. And the reason why I bring this up is not only to boast and say,
Well, you still
I'm
can. You
awesome
still
and I
can,
do
even if
awesome
it's just
things,
for boasting.
but also to say, like, it's a real privilege to live as an out queer woman because the world is still not safe for us. And so I think there's just different degrees of how much you're going to have to mask, but it's just part of the structure. But I do think it quieted me. I don't think I was nearly as loud as I probably could have been. If you can believe that.
Well, now it seems like you've stepped more into who you are and are more loud and, proud to be yourself and
Well,
open. And that's, as you said, it's a privilege, but also it's honestly a shout out to you because not everybody has the courage to do so, no matter how much space they have.
oh,
So that's amazing.
thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
So, as you mentioned before, you are now becoming more loud with your voice, and you also have a lot of connections, and you've been in the entrepreneurial space for a long time, and you've been vocal about LGBTQ plus community. Have you ever felt like you were expected to represent your entire community? And how do you feel about it if you ever had that feeling?
Do I ever feel like I have to represent? You know, yes and
Hmm.
no. I think with Freak, and then when we realized that we were potentially the first out queer woman and out trans man C-suite team, I did feel my own pressure to say, oh, we have to succeed, we have to make it.
Yes.
We can't be the first to not make it. One of the things that I've done, and this would be the advice I would give everyone, is get yourself a team around you of elders and advisors who you can check in with. So in my work, I have folks who've been doing this much longer than me, people who have taken much more risk than I have to get to the table to create structures that we love and that we need. And I look to them for their advice. And so, people talk about get your own personal board. I have a personal board. And what's really great about that too is they'll check you if you're out of line. Get people who will tell you like it is in your life. Yeah.
I think that's
So I don't feel any kind of burden.
okay.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. And I think it's a wonderful advice to just be surrounded by people who know what they're talking about and aren't afraid to tell you the truth. It's fantastic. But also there's always this, how do I find those people, right? Did you find it easy or difficult to find people like that, mentors, elders, and how did you go about it?
How I found my team of advisors is that I'm a part of the American civil rights movement. And so a lot of times I'm able to access leadership through this American civil rights movement. And the aspect of helping another queer person or helping another woman or helping another immigrant or helping someone with disabilities have access, it's such an ethic that's baked in to our social justice movement in the United States that people found me. Or I was very much able to just pick up the phone and say, hey, will you mentor me? Or hey, I'd like to learn from you. I think that perhaps this civil rights movement in the US creates more community, reaching that hand out to the next person who's coming up the ladder that I'm not seeing as much here. And I don't know if that's cultural, but just ask. I mean, the worst thing is you get a no. Next,
Yes.
go on.
Yes, I think the overarching theme throughout our conversation is don't be afraid to hear no for an answer. And I think that's something founders need to get used to, no matter which path you're coming from, what gender you are, which country you come from, you'll be hearing no a lot. That's just the journey of the founders.
I guess I'm really used to it. I have this great therapist I
Okay.
had who yeah, you can take relationship therapy into the
My
business
background
world.
is psychology and therapy, so I absolutely appreciate any founder who's looking for support and help from professionals, or any person really.
Yes. And so she said to me, I was dating someone who I knew was not going to be a long-term match. And she's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And, part of me was worried about being lonely, and part of me just kind of liked the person. And then she taught me how to ask for what I want and then just let the chips fall where they may. And so this was in dating. That has helped me a lot in business as well. And, when I got the partners together to help us build Freak, people laughed at me. Like, I went to tech events, I sat in those rooms and I said, look, I think that, we can develop Freak for free if you'll just give me the technology, or very low cost. If you'll just give me the technology exists. And I would get laughed at, and people would be like, what are you talking about? And then ultimately I met a team of people who were like, actually, you're right. We do have this tech. Let's practice it with you and let's see how it goes. And if I had accepted that I was supposed to do a traditional route of like fundraising and investing millions and like none of that was the way I wanted to go. What I wanted was really to also make a statement that queer people deserve safe online technology. You've got it. Let's go. And my message worked.
Wow, congrats. that is a great example, I think, of also how the skills in your life and entrepreneurship, they kind of are transferable, really, because a lot of it is working on yourself and human connection in the end, right? So
Oh, I love that. Right. The more confident that I got in myself, the more I'm able to bring it to business.
yes, I absolutely agree with that. And that's what I see among a lot of founders that I'm talking to. And part of building that confidence somehow, though, it's like a little bit of a loop, right? Part of building the confidence is being successful in entrepreneurship, but then being successful in entrepreneurship, to do that, you need to be confident. So there's a little bit of a chicken and egg situation there, but
Love it. I guess I never even thought of it. I mean, maybe I'm not the typical entrepreneur that I never thought, it never occurred to me that I wasn't going to succeed. I will have pitfalls, I will have pivots, I will have so many things can happen, but it's not in my mind that I won't succeed. And also, I'm saying about
yes.
me. My business might not make it, but that's not
Okay.
me. It's just a
Yes.
business.
Yes, that is also true. Now I'd like
Yeah, thank
to
you.
talk I'd like to talk about the community as a whole a little more. So,
Sure.
do you think that queer founders face different emotional pressures than other founders?
What's going on with the LGBTQ plus community is not very different for us as founders or entrepreneurs, as workers, as leaders. We are in trouble in that there is a shift to the right. It makes us fearful to be out, not just fearful of like criticism, like, oh, you're too much and I can't learn pronouns. I'm talking about violence. I'm talking about not getting hired for a job, not getting housing. That's, to me, that's violent. Uh, Being turned away because of our sexuality or our gender. And so I think the pressure is constant of, how do I represent? Is this person safe? Am I going to be discriminated against? And at the same time, I need to make money, take care of my family, put, roof over my head. And so I might feel more pressure to code switch or to mask so that I can take care of myself. And that's also what type of exhaustion and violence if I can't be myself. And okay, so there's the downside. Now, the upside of being part of the LGBTQ plus community is that when you find a safe part of the LGBTQ plus community, like the community I developed, we have a ton of fun. So I've been in civil rights. I've worked all over the place. I've never found a group of people who has more fun than the LGBTQ plus community. So we're going to work hard all day, and then we're going to have the drag show and the dance party and some other types of
Oh, that's
parties.
really fun.
And
Can a straight person join?
yes, absolutely. We love allies. There's straight people are more than welcome. Madonna is for everyone. Drag is for everyone. And what it really means is there's a different code of conduct that's happening in the LGBTQ plus community than is happening in the straight community. I'm just gonna say it. We are safer. We take care of each other more. You go to an LGBTQ plus party and there's a quiet room for the folks who are neurospicy
Oh,
and
wow.
can't handle the music all the time because they don't want it. Go to LGBTQ plus parties and there's sober spaces. And I find that the LGBTQ plus community does that better.
Yeah.
Not perfectly, but better.
Yes, I have two thoughts. One is about the negative side, right? I was never part of the LGBTQ plus community, but I feel that um, not fully being open about who you are because you're afraid of discrimination, that's what something that happened to a lot of Russian folks in the past couple years.
Yes,
And I
especially
know,
now, right?
yes, and
Yeah.
I know because I've been living in Europe for the past, God, 12 years, and so have my friends, a lot of them. And some of them stopped saying that they're from Russia because they live in countries
Yeah.
where they can't say it anymore. So I can relate to that. And I think there are so many different marginalized groups, right? Whether it's race, religion, um, sexual orientation, even nationality nowadays, that you feel
Yes.
unsafe saying your background, talking about it. And I think it's kind of wild, to be honest.
So thank you for the empathy. And then how do you take care of your community? Right? Because we still got to work, we still got to get out there, we still got to be a part of this structure that's oppressive, but we still got to get out here. So, yeah, I encourage everyone who's listening, if you haven't been to a Pride, go to a Pride, and I bet you'll be welcomed.
Absolutely. And
I hope you'll
that's
be
another
welcomed.
more positive thing I wanted to say in terms of what you said. I obviously in Russia it wasn't a thing, but once I moved to Europe, I started going to Pride. I try to do it every year. I didn't manage this year, unfortunately, but it is just such a loving, fun community. And you just feel, even if you're not a part of it, you just feel like you're a part of it. You feel like it's this fun party with lots of just love and acceptance happening for everyone. It doesn't feel
I mean,
like it's excluding anyone at all. And I found it absolutely beautiful. And
we're not perfect. We're not perfect, but the LGBTQ plus, but centered on love and centered on inclusion, right? It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And we need more movements like that in the world.
exactly, yeah. If more people were as happy, supportive, and accepting as they are on Pride, we would just be such a much more beautiful world because everyone just, it's like a switch in everyone's head. Because so I live in London and I still find it quite a friendly city. Many people say it's not, but it's a massive city, right? So people rush around and they don't stop to talk to anybody. On Pride days, everyone is chatting around and talking to people and then just offering beers, playing music, dancing with each other, no matter whether they're part of the community, just allies, or just went to Pride for fun. It's somehow there's just the switch, it just turns on, people are all happy and loving and accepting. It was fascinating to me the first time I went. But yeah, it's something we need more of, definitely, just throughout all the communities, really.
Yeah, that's what I think. And like I said, when I became like a professional queer, we call it, when I was communications director of the oldest LGBTQ rights organization in the US, the National LGBTQ Task Force, I saw the LGBTQ plus community partying more, not partying like with drugs and alcohol, but celebrating and taking that moment after that long hard day of lobbying on the Hill for our basic humanity, and then going back and putting on costumes and entertaining each other and throwing drag shows and burlesque and ballroom, and I was like, wow, we need more of that.
That's an interesting thing you said, because I think, as a background with healthcare for me and mental health, I constantly remind myself and other entrepreneurs to celebrate even small wins, right? Because we tend
Oh,
to
totally.
forget to do that. We just have this massive goal, and up until we reach that massive goal that might be years away, we feel like there is nothing to celebrate. And the fact that you said, well, you just celebrate every day, you just went down there, you fought for a day, and that's already enough to celebrate. And I think that's something that can be transferred to all entrepreneurs, really, or even people. You fought for another day, celebrate it.
We could start we could start a program queerifying entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And like the other aspect of like not taking it so seriously and also having a critical lens, right? Like Facebook or Microsoft, and queer folk are going to have a critical lens because we'll also be able to show you every single way that those organizations have not been helpful, have been oppressive, and that's actually queer theory. So yeah, I'm for it. Let's queerify everything.
Yes, yes. Sounds like a blast, to be honest. So,
Right, and I think that that's what's wonderful about us. So the harsh reality is that we're existing in a structure of capitalism, and entrepreneurship is capitalism.
absolutely.
And we're existing in this structure that is painful and hurtful and exploitative and racist. And we need to make our way in it. So what the LGBTQ plus community does is then say, okay, you made your way, you made your day. Let's go have a good time. And also, I think that when you are told that that my being as a queer woman doesn't matter, um, it can make it actually easier in a way to just laugh off, being able to flip the
Mm,
marginalization on its head
yes.
and say, okay, you don't like me? Well, you know what? I don't actually like you either. But I'm not going to harm
Yeah.
you. I'm not going to oppress you. I'm not going to tell you what you should be doing. And in fact, like if you're cool, let's do business together.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Love that.
So this was supposed to be about entrepreneurship and mental health, but like we're just going to queerify like everything now.
I think actually finding ways to make entrepreneurs feel more at ease, just having fun, enjoying
Yeah.
it is the best way to, one, build better businesses, to keep them more focused on it. Because if you're having fun and enjoying what you're doing, there are more chances that you're going to keep on doing it. And three, to take care
Yes.
of their mental health. Because if you're just grinding through every day, there are a lot of questions of how long can you actually keep at it?
Yeah, I think burnout is real. And I think for me, I don't get burnout from helping my customers thrive by doing my work. I get burnout from dealing with a structure that's unhealthy. And so I don't think we have enough critical lens of business and capitalism in general. And just to say, I love my businesses, but they're not the be all and end all. The be all and end all starts, yes, with me first taking care of myself and my community and then my business. And I think maybe that's helped me to just be more sane and more able to take care of others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the last question I want to ask, so what's next for you and also for your platform Freak?
So many things.
I didn't expect anything less than that.
Okay, let me take this more seriously. What is next for us? So Freak, we're pivoting at Freak. I think this is really important for folks that we took a pause for various reasons and we're considering all of our options. We have amazing tech partners that we work with who are helping us look through, do we want to be a broadcast station? Do
Wow.
we want to be like a queer YouTube? I personally want to document all drag around the world. So how can I? Well, because I think that drag and gender play in art is inherently anti-patriarchal, and so that's my thing. And now we have drag. Now we have a drag king show. There's drag queens with RuPaul, but now we have a television show in the States for the drag kings. I'm like, ooh, this is momentous. Let's. So that's just like me and my personal mission is to see more drag and to document it as much as possible because I think it's amazing art form. So how does Freak um, work inside of the capitalist structure while supporting our arts and culture? So we're looking at all the different ways that we can do that. And then Massey Media, my marketing company, lately I've been working with new businesses and entrepreneurs and it's been so fun. It's so awesome to help others. And I would love to attract more. I'd love it. I'm looking at developing cohorts so
Awesome.
that you can, spend a little bit of money with me and get my information, my tutoring, so that you can grow in your business. I would love to do more of that. And who knows what else is next?
It's
I
also a
might.
beautiful mystery, right? It's where life takes you.
What I like about being an entrepreneur, and I've taken classes and I've worked with other entrepreneurs, is the ability to pivot. I am working on an artificial intelligence project that is, I think, is going to help part of our community make more money. And I got really excited again by the idea that not not only should like these dude bros own artificial intelligence, uh, and we can own a piece of it as well, and we can use it for the benefit of society. There's so many really good uses of AI, and so I'm looking at that as well. But that's really I'll be releasing that probably by the end of
Okay,
the year.
I'll be looking forward to it. I'm genuinely interested in how that's gonna play out because my company is within AI field, so yes,
Oh,
I'm quite
goodness, yeah.
passionate about that. So I'll keep tabs. All right. Well, thank you
Thanks.
so much for your time. It was a great, interesting, and fun conversation.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure to be here and to meet you. And I'm always so grateful. And thanks for the opportunity to hopefully be a leader and bring some folks along.